Well, Flint just went out completely. I ride it till it's done. Why do you think I carry this thing around? Other than for churches. You never know when you're gonna need to light a candle to pray for someone. Almost killed myself or someone else today, and you might say you can just stop there because how many people are in here? All of us are here. We love you so much. You fucking haters, when you just back off. Myself or someone else, maybe both. I almost killed us all today. Oh, don't worry. I haven't the benefit of being an ex-president and having free access and ownership of nuclear fucking papers, legal or otherwise, more likely otherwise. I don't have that. I can't kill everybody, just everybody around me, which is what he seems to do anyway, that poor guy. Put anybody in jail, in prison for a while. This I learned from the military. Just being in the military for a while and knowing you can't fucking leave for 4 years, that kills somebody for a while. It's that freedom everybody talks about. When you take that freedom away, it kills you a bit inside for all that time, and you might never come back. I'm only saying, almost killed myself or others. Or you can throw an and in there. Why? By finding out how dangerous it can be to smoke while driving. I was out in the world today, and I'm driving, and it's thick. It's two-way traffic now, so you've got a head-on collision that you can deal with rather than a side swipe and where people have time to stop, slow down, get out of the way. I'm doing this shit all day long. But a head-on collision there, and normally, even through the winter, I'll drive with my sunroof open. I smoke. I ash out the sunroof. And when I'm done, I field dress the fucker out the sunroof. You don't have side winds. It's just fine. Everything's fine. But, so I was finishing a cigarette. I'm about 1/8 of a mile from the liquor store, and I'm finishing the cigarette just on schedule, and I went to reach out and field dress it out my sunroof, and I looked in the rear view, make sure there's not a motorcyclist or anybody back there, really. If they're far enough away, that's one thing, but a motorcyclist, I'll do it out the side every time, because that shit flies. I'm sure I've been covered by piss from an RV trailer once on my motorcycle heading across, I think it was Wyoming. Somebody with a damn RV trailer, and there was this spray coming out the back of it as I was coming up, and I'm like, is it raining? And I looked, and there was spray coming out of the bottom of the thing driving down the freeway like a Chinese railroad. You just crap on the tracks. Is this what you RV people are? You dirty motherfuckers? Dump your shit on the freeway? So, you know, you don't want to do something in front of a motorcyclist. This thing could get in his neck and catch him on fire or some shit, you know? The cherry burns hot. It needs attention. I look back and traffic's so thick and moving along so well. There's a car that's really not being disrespectful, but moving with traffic the way it is here. You know, you find different parts of the world act different ways, and even in Idaho, when I drove through there the last time as I pulled into Idaho, it was a 55 zone there, and I was going by people at 60. I'm going, oh, middle of the night, so you can't see who's who anyway. And I realized, why isn't I passing everybody? I said, and I slowed down to exact 55. That's what they were driving, and I realized cops in this area will write a ticket for 1 over. Contemporary community standard is set directly at the speed limit, so I was able to, okay. Whatever all that's about. But here it is, this guy's really close to me. Even, he's not a motorcyclist, he's in a car. But I don't want to look offensive, you know, saying, fuck you. I brought it back down. I didn't want the cigarette flying onto his windshield like a actual firefly. He's like, what the fuck is that? Turns on his wipers and it burns him off. Next rain, he's getting in an accident somewhere because he can't see right in front of his eyes. So I said, I had the window down, put it out, you know, I field dressed it. Speaking of that, see, here we are. The first time I had COVID, which we are all sure we had it, it was February 18th, it really hit me. Because on February 19th, it was still written on the calendar near the end of the year. I'm able to see when I had days off. February 19th is when it hit me. And I was out in the world after that. Because I kept going to work. There was no such thing as COVID back then. They wouldn't even fucking test you. She went in and said she thinks she has it. That's what's causing her. Because there was a cycle. Not a cycle, but there was a correlation with that and many of the other things. You would think. And they wouldn't even test her at the hospital. She needed to be in the hospital if what it felt like was happening was happening. They were about to cut her open. She got better. At the time we had it, nobody accepted it. Wouldn't even test her. They said, no, well, we're not going to test for that. That's not. They acted like they probably didn't even have the tests for them. So here I am with the COVID, still working, eyes burning. And some guy got aggressive and angry, and then they got behind me because I was better than him. Let him fucking sit behind me. I'll make some space between the car in front of me and, you know, safe space. He was all aggressive and rah, rah, and beeping, and you could see him screaming back there. I'm like, this guy, if we come to a light, I just can't wait because he's going to get out of the car and come at me. the minimum force necessary to stop an onslaught. But I don't know how far he's willing to go if he gets back up. Without even knowing it, I was putting his life in danger, because at one point, there he's right behind me, and I'd have this hawk. Some of the best fucking hawked up loogies I'd ever had, or the COVID stuff that first time. And I'm driving, and I'm smoking, and I said, and I look in the rear mirror, and he's like bumper to bumper on me, and I said, there's no way it can miss. And I do this regularly too if there's nobody behind me. I reached up, and I threw that fucking thing through the sunroof, and I swear I saw a bit of it, just like it was right on line. I didn't see it hit him, but I'm thinking it landed directly on his windshield, and that fucker, I put him at a biohazard fucking, he's in direct contact with it if he rubs it off with his hands, which he's going to have to, because the wiper's just going to slime it. And he's the kind of guy that doesn't have any washer fluid in the damn pump, or it's been broken for years and he doesn't know that he could get it fixed, and he finally gets it fixed right before he sells the car. But, yeah, he's going to be out wiping it off with a fucking rag. He doesn't have Windex in the car, so it's going to seep through the rag, and he's going to go, and he's fucking eating his fucking crow. So I put that on her, but here it is. I'm not wanting to do that to people generally. And so I put my hand outside the window. I'm driving, and I'm field dressing, and I'm doing this, and there it goes. And I rip the little piece off there, throw that out because it's biodegradable. And I bring this in the butt, and I put it in the little ash thing I've got. It just collects empty butts. I'm not going to start a fire in the car. Maybe I won't side it. And so I reach back, I'm driving. I'm doing fine. And all of a sudden, as I'm driving, I see smoke coming from my sleeve, billowing smoke. I was highly impressed because I couldn't see where it came from. And I thought, oh no, it fell down between the seat and on the carpet. So I'm doing this shit, looking around. I'm like, and I'm trying to keep it in my lane because there's oncoming traffic, and the car, that guy behind me, he must have known what happened. He sees me field dressing my fucking cigarette, and all of a sudden the car starts going. He's like, there's something going on in there. I'd really like to be able to see it, but I don't want to be in it, type of thing. And it's just, it's not down there. It's puffing out of my sleeve, and I don't feel what, like the one time I did get one come down into my neck and jumped around under my shirt when I was on the motorcycle, that cigarette cherry fire. I thought a bee was stinging me all over. I was like, what the fuck? And I stopped and I ripped off, and I had burns all over me. So, yeah, they might think that's what's going to happen. I don't know. So I looked. Well, let me try again. There was smoke billowing out of my sleeve just like that. And I'm like, I think it's in me. And I threw my arm back out the window and just shook the hell out of my arm. What this guy behind me is thinking, he knows something's going on and it's important. I never even thought about it from his perspective. That guy saw this whole thing. And I did that, and I come in and I look and I'm like, huh, it's not coming out anymore. I pull into the liquor store and I'm looking around under the seat, make sure there's no smoke coming, and I kept smelling my little sleeve here to see if it had been burning, and it smelled just like the other one, unwashed for the 4 years I've owned it. And oh no, more like 8 of this ammo. And then I turned it around and I looked, and it was catching me on fire. It's amazing it didn't just take off, but it was in the bottom of my sleeve where it wasn't on my skin. Look. And it was pretty exciting. And I told it's like a blade. If you pick it up, you've got to draw blood. The blood is the life. The beer is the life. Here we are. We're beer pyres hanging out. And you can walk out of the bar at any time and I wouldn't even know it because I'm just talking to myself. And she's just acting like she's listening. And I went into the liquor store and I said, oh my gosh, man, smoking can kill you in a car. He's like, yeah, it's more dangerous than drinking and driving. I was like, well, I can almost attest to that because I've never been killed drinking and driving. And it was very close. If I didn't need to buy beer, I would not have needed to stop at the liquor store. I would have kept fighting with this driving and ended up in a big... But today, Pabst saved my life. Pure Legend bought me this shirt, and I wore it because I was going to buy beer. And he happens to be Chaldean. He doesn't smoke. I don't know. He must drink. He has mentioned drinking, but those are the old magicians. And if he says that this is more dangerous than this, I'm going to have to do them both to outweigh the negative balances.